Hello, everyone. Welcome to this new series of interviews by Shapelets. This series allows us to explore different topics in the data science community. We'll be interviewing experts and cover the role and expertise of a data scientist. We'll focus on the data professional's background, the issues they have, and the skills they apply in the day-to-day jobs. I'm Fatima Ramos. I work at Shapelets, and today I'm pleased to welcome Matías Ávila, who is a data scientist at IKEA, and he's also a machine learning lecturer and coordinator at the University of Navarra in Spain. Hi, Matías, welcome.
Hi Fatima, how are you doing? Hi, my name is Matías. I hold an undergrad degree in economics by the University of Navarra. I did my master's in data analytics at the University of North Carolina. Currently, I'm pursuing my PhD in mathematics at the University Carlos III de Madrid. I have experience in different industries. During the last years, I've been working at BBVA, a very important bank in Spain, but also in Mexico, Turkey, Colombia, Argentina, and many other countries in the world. Currently, I'm working as a data scientist at IKEA. So when I was doing my undergrad at the University of Navarra, while studying economics, I really enjoy some lectures such as econometrics, time series. I was really interested in understanding how some features can explain or even predict behaviors or future values. So during this time, one of my teachers who studied at Carnegie Mellon suggested me to do my senior undergrad thesis in a project where I had to deal with medical data. So I had to learn R, Python myself, and well, actually I had a great time gathering data, cleaning it, plotting, modeling. It was then when I discovered data science and when I decided to move to States in order to pursue my career in AI and big data. So I started my master's in data analytics at North Carolina State University. So thanks to this professor and this senior thesis project, is why I moved from economics to data science. Well, I always enjoy exploring uncharted patterns within data. That's always fun. But something I really enjoy is that data science is a really eclectic domain. You derive ideas from abroad and from a huge range of sources. For example, you have different tools from survival analysis, which is quite common in medical trials, models that belong to a time series domain, algorithms from computer science, or even different metrics such as entropy, which is used in chemistry and physics. So I say that's something I really enjoy from data science, is that it's an area where you interact and learn from many different domains. So something I really value is open source technologies, because you have a huge community that you can contact if you have any problem, or just if you want to learn how others have solved the very same problem but in a different industry. It's a good way to understand the tool that you are using and get the most out of it. I see there are two main problems. The first one will be dealing with expectations. Some people, especially managers, tend to think that data science is some kind of magic where you bring a bunch of nerds and blah blah blah, they will make a ton of money and fix everything with this algorithm. It doesn't work like that. First, you need to be sure you have the data needed in order to solve this problem, to follow up the problem, the solution you implemented. So there are many other things going behind the scenes. Another problem I would say is that usually data scientists tend to lack of soft skills. Data scientists have great backgrounds in computer science, mathematics, engineering, but generally they struggle when communicating some valuable insights or solutions. So I say that those are the main problems, dealing with expectations and the lack of soft skills of some data scientists when communicating some ideas to the managers. So there are different steps you should follow when doing and deploying a machine learning solution. You have to define a hypothesis, you have to define some metrics in order to track how good or bad is your solution. You have to train a model, you have, well, before that, you have to understand the data. But most people know that. But something I really stress, something that is really important, is that, and most people miss, is that you have to get to know the business. The very first step is to wonder, do I know how the warehouse store the goods? Do you really, or do I really understand what problems do the truck drivers face when dealing with a shipment? Do you know, do I know how data is gathered? Like, if you know or you understand the business, you won't do your best when analyzing the data, when you are cleaning it or doing some imputing values, or even during modeling. So I'd say that the very first stage that you should focus on is to really get to know the business and then follow the common steps of machine learning. So maybe you come from a business background, you studied computer science, medicine, it doesn't matter. You have to take advantage of your knowledge and say, okay, now if I want to turn into a data scientist, what am I missing? So if you studied business or economics, maybe you lack some statistical knowledge or even some programming language. I strongly recommend you to learn Python, R, SQL, Git, but you have to take advantage of the current skills that you have. Let's say if you're a computer scientist, if you studied computer science, uh, you already know how to program. So you just have to focus on hone your skills in statistics and maybe in some business or soft skills. So what matters is how you use your skills. Let's say you studied business, so you are going to be a great data scientist in a bank. I studied medicine, I'm going to focus to be a great data scientist in the pharma industry. So that's something I really recommend you to take advantage of your background, because that's what makes you different and also what makes you stand out of the crowd. Another thing I will strongly recommend is that nowadays cloud technologies such as Google, Azure, Amazon are knowledge quite important nowadays when working in a big company. So I say you need three main skills. Yeah, first you need some knowledge or skills from computer science, algorithms, also databases. That'll be the first one. Then you need some knowledge from statistics, mathematics, which is essential in order to deal with machine learning algorithms. And finally, but not least, you need some soft skills or business knowledge. And the combination of these three set of skills, is what makes you a great data scientist.
Agree. Thank you. This is super useful. Well, that's it. I'm going to close out this session. Thank you so much, Matías, for taking the time to chat with us. Hopefully, we'll see you again soon. But thank you again for your time and sharing your experience. Bye, everyone. Have a good day.